So what happened last night? Anybody do anything interesting? Okay. The 2024 presidential race ended.
Oh, baby. I'll tell you what happened, Miss Whoopi Goldturds. A miracle that's sure to leave the establishment shaking in their boots. Donald Trump has triumphed against all odds, becoming the 47th president of the United States. The American people have spoken loud and clear, electing the candidate they felt was best suited to lead, not who the establishment thought was best for the American people. Now the Democrats have a cold, hard reality check coming their way. No more hiding in the comfort of their woke bubble. Like it or not, they're going to have to face the real world now. Brace yourselves. It's going to be a bumpy ride. If you enjoy content like this, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a ton.
Yesterday. And this is what the country and the world woke up to this morning. Take a look.
This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much.
So, how you feel?
Well, thank you for asking. I feel like an absolute winner.
Yeah, go ahead.
My takeaway is that the system works. We live in a democracy. People spoke. This is what people wanted. I vehemently disagree with the decision that Americans made. But I feel very, very hopeful that we have a democratic system in this country. We should value it. We should love it. We should protest if the situation arises that we need to protest, which I'm sure it will. And I've been through this before with Nixon. It's been very difficult. But boy, oh boy, do we have a country if we can keep it.
Yeah. Well, echoing the sentiments, Joy, one of the first thing I wanted to say for anyone that needs an example of when the person you voted for does not win, you do not say the system must be broken or that it was rigged. You say it is what it is, and you show up anyway. And I want to commend all those people that voted, because you sometimes hear people say, well, it didn't matter. No, it did matter. That was still your currency. That was still your power. And people turned out. Now, if you didn't vote, you really don't have a say in the conversation, so you can go ahead and sit down. But for the rest of you, and then a lot of what I think about is what I always tell my kids when things go on. You feel what you feel. Everyone has different emotions. Some people got what they wanted. A lot of people didn't. And you feel anything that comes up, and then you turn around and you say, let's look at the tapes. Let's see what we did. Let's see how we continue to fight for the people that we care about. And you take one step in front of the other. And so here we are today, and I still feel that optimistic because I feel arm in arm with so many people who agree with me. And I'm not going to stop marching. So,
well, it seems like the rest of the liberal woke media did not get the memo. Check out this meltdown.
There were appeals to racism in this campaign, and there is racial bias in this country, and there is sexism in this country. And anybody who thinks that that did not in any way impact on the outcome of this race is wrong.
That message obviously was not enough to get enough white women to vote for Vice President Harris, a fellow woman. This will be the second opportunity that white women in this country have to change the way that they interact with the patriarchy.
She is a person of color. She is a she, and she is in an interracial marriage. And I wonder, I have this question mark in my mind over whether all of those things combined was too much for pockets of this country.
Pep talk, Coach Haynes. Listen, is it the outcome I wanted? No, but we live in a democracy. I have my vote. Right. Millions of people cast their votes did. And what's important to me is this. Tens of millions of Americans, our friends, our neighbors, our family members, voted for Donald Trump. we disagree with him. I know we all do at this table, but they are good, decent people who are patriots and love this country. And I can't speak to what drove them to the conclusion of being with him, but I think it is a moment for us to listen to each other, to hear each other, express what our concerns are. I've spent the last 4 years doing that, and also listen to people who are with him, because this is a country that there is truly more that unites us than divides us. I know it doesn't feel like that for many people in this moment, but we need to bring down the temperature, the name calling, the demonizing, let the other side, if they want to do that, they can do it. But I think it is a moment to listen to the voters. And this, I have to say, I've always thought he could win. I thought in the final stretch she might eke it out. I didn't expect it to be this resounding, and I think there are some lessons from it. I think we forget about rural America. I think the working class feels left behind. They feel like the powerful, the elite only care about them and their power. And he spoke to them. We may not have liked his words, but they turned out for him. I mean, the map was, it was beyond Reagan what we saw last night. And I think we need to start listening more about the concerns of everyday Americans who feel like this system is failing.
When Reagan won, I remember the whole map was red.
In Joy's defense, she may be colorblind.
It was pretty red last night.
I don't know. I'm profoundly disturbed. I think if you look at the New York Times this morning, the headline was "America makes a perilous choice." I think that in 2016, we didn't know what we would get from a Trump administration, but we know now. And we know now that he will have almost unfettered power. And so I worry not about myself, actually. I don't worry about my station in life. I worry about the working class. I worry about my mother, a retired teacher. I worry about our elderly and their Social Security and their Medicare. I worry about my children's future, especially my daughter, who now has less rights than I have. And I remember my father telling me many, many years ago that I was the first person in his family to enjoy full civil rights. And now I have less civil rights than I had when he told me that. So again, I'm profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming president of the United States. I think that going forward, the convicted felon box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president of the United States, then you should not be prevented from employment in this country, because I remember applying for my jobs as a federal prosecutor, and there was a box for convicted felons.
Wow. 3 words: Trump derangement syndrome. So apparently the sky is falling because Donald Trump is back, and everyone should just brace themselves for unfettered power. I mean, we're basically talking about Emperor Trump with lightning bolts. What, now he's the new Julius Caesar? And the headlines: America makes a perilous choice. Oh, please. Last time I checked, it was called an election, not the apocalypse. And as far as concerns about Social Security, civil rights, and children's futures, you think Trump's first order of business would be to send our grandparents to the moon and abolish apple pie. And here's my favorite part: the idea that being president is now so easy, we should just throw the convicted box off job applications. Because if Trump can be president, literally anyone can do it, right? Look, the reality is America didn't implode the first time Trump was president, and it's not going to now.
Well, and so that box better be taken off. And I think our healthcare system is now at risk. I think
no fluoride for anyone.
Yeah, economists have made clear that he's going to increase the debt by $7.75 trillion. I'm worried about mass deportation and internment camps, and I'm also worried about Elon Musk warning Americans to prepare for temporary hardship. I'm surprised at the result, but I'm not surprised. As a woman of color, I was so hopeful that a mixed-race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country. And I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
Well, I think it, I think it has to do with a lot of things, that being one of them. I'm obviously very disappointed. I'm very sad. I was at the Kamala Harris headquarters yesterday in Washington, and it was a very sad scene. The mood turned immediately, and I tell you, there's a quote I get a lot of inspiration from, and it's a quote that I read when I was reading about John F. Kennedy, and it says, Whether I am on the winning or the losing side is not the point with me. It is being on the side where my sympathies lie that matters. And that to me brought me consolation and inspiration this morning because I have no regrets.
Yep.
I worked hard as hell to elect the first Black Asian woman president. History slipped through our fingers again. I worked hard as hell for Donald Trump not to be president. But today, unlike Donald Trump and his followers, I acknowledge that he won. I hope for the best for our country, and I make a commitment to our LGBTQ, to our immigrants, to our elderly, to our young girls, to the women, that we will not stop fighting. We can be sad today. Today we can be sad. Tomorrow we stand up and we continue. We have every right as Americans, because we love this country, because this is the most exceptional country in the world, we have the right and the duty to speak up and denounce abuses of power, to be vigilant. And so I invite all Americans.
Why is it so hard to understand? The country has spoken loud and clear. This election wasn't about a few pockets of radical leftists or some fringe ideology. No, the majority wanted change, and they chose Donald Trump to bring it. It's as simple as that. If you're still scratching your head wondering how this happened, let me break it down. The establishment failed the people. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the whole political machine promised a lot but delivered nothing. And Americans decided they had enough. So if this election results feels like a blow to your ideology, maybe it's time to do a little self-reflection. The people wanted change, and they made their voices heard. For anyone who can't accept that, it might be time to reconsider if you're the one out of touch.
To do it. But we are doing what they didn't do. We are recognizing they won.
Yep.
Now let's see what happens when he is governing.
So, you look, we said to people, vote. We didn't tell people who to vote for.
Right.
We just said, go out. Huh?
Well,
yes, but I did not.
Yeah, I did.
Because I wanted to make sure people exercise that right. Too many people that I know died trying to vote.
Yeah.
Okay? So we start with that. And think about this. She did this in 2 months.
Yeah, I know.
She did this in 2 months.
She left it all on the field.
You know,
Yes, she
look,
did.
she, you know,
The
everybody
flawless campaign.
can always say, oh, she should have done this, she should have done this, She did what she did. She was everywhere. She talked to everybody. And people didn't come out. I don't know why. And it doesn't even matter. He's now the president. I'm still not going to say his name. That's not going to change. Yeah.
All right, let's get real here. She wasn't some outsider trying to prove herself in 2 months. She was the vice president for 4 years. 4 whole years to show America what she could do, to build trust and prove she could handle the job. That was a chance to demonstrate leadership, win over the people, and convince the country that she was ready to step up as president. But clearly that did not happen. If people didn't come out for her, it's not because of a last-minute campaign scramble or lack of exposure. It's because in those 4 years, she failed to make the case. The American people had a front row seat to her record, and when it came down to it, they made their choice. That says it all. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give it a thumbs up. Share it with anyone who might find it interesting. And most importantly, leave a comment below. I love to hear what you think about the women of The View and their Trump derangement syndrome. Your feedback means a lot, so let me know your thoughts and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching.